Are there issues with the Halloween game that was in development with Boss Team Games? It would appear so. More on the other side.
Oppression is the mask of fear.
Welcome back to the Mask of Fear, your one-stop shop for all things Halloween, horror, Star Wars, and more. I'm Sean. Thank you for joining us for this video on this Sunday evening. Look, we've been talking about the volatile nature of the Halloween TV series as of late and everything happening around it, mainly the changeover at Miramax Television with Mr. Mark Helwig being out. Obviously, it now calls into question where that series currently stands. We have been talking about some info that we received on early treatments they were considering over at Miramax and Trancas. More of that not only on this channel, but available on our Patreon now at patreon.com/The Mask of Fear. The question I have for you in this video, or multiple choice question, is, do you think the game, the Halloween game, will still come out if Boss Teams Games has in fact lost the license? A simple yes or no, or it could go either way. Comment down below and share your thoughts there. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to keep up with all of our future content. Big shout out to our patrons too. We've seen some movement over there lately. Really appreciate it. We appreciate all you, and I hope you've appreciated the content that we've started to put out over there. And to our channel sponsors, Ryan over at Kaulignation, Jason at Backtrack Cinema, and Jesse at Jesse Time Sports Story Spectacular wouldn't be here without you. Let's dive into this. Boss Team Games released a side-scroller SNES, or even NES, depending on how you look at it, style Halloween game last year, which, you know, for what it was, maybe people liked it, but if you really look at it, you know, without rose-colored glasses, it wasn't very good. It was a very rushed, put-out thing just for the sake of throwing out a game that has the Halloween title on it. And I don't think that situation was handled the best. And apparently the folks over at Trancas agree. Now, everything from this point on in the video should be taken with a grain of salt because there's been no confirmations on it whatsoever, but rumors from places that I think people should trust. So let's dive into it. Yesterday morning, I believe it was, maybe the night before, it had come out that Boss Team Games had lost the rights to the Halloween game that was in development, the asymmetrical Halloween game that was in development. Again, you might know them from their Ash versus Evil Dead game. John Carpenter reportedly has been involved in it. Look, I'd love to sit here and spin it in some positive light for you all, but there's really no positive light here, in my opinion. Now, some people might view it as positive. I'm kind of on the out, but we'll see. Let's dive into it here. Boss Team Games has reportedly lost the license to the Halloween game. Why, do you ask? Well, apparently it revolves around not just where their progress was on the asymmetrical horror game that was being worked on, but rather the handling of that Retro Realms game that came out last year. A lot of unhappy people on multiple sides. And I know if you're a Halloween fan, you're thinking, first the TV series, now this. And you're not wrong to think that, because it's frustrating. As long as we remember that Friday the 13th fans have had to go outside of a video game, and the wonderful people over at Womp Stomp Films, they've gone 16 years without anything. So maybe we should, hold the horses before punching the doomsday button. But reportedly, ILLFONIC and Gun Interactive have come together to start working on this Halloween game. Now, we've sent out a couple of messages to people that we think would know what's going on, and it's been radio silence for 24 hours. So all we have to go off of is the initial report that's out there. Does that mean any of the assets that were being worked on now transfer over to Gun and Ilfonic? I don't know. I don't know if they do. Look, I think the Friday the 13th game that Ilfonic and Gun did together had some real ups. I do. And I think it was far superior to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game that came out. It's also important to note ILLFONIC was not involved with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game. They were involved with the Friday game only. So if you're just looking at the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game as what you could get from Halloween, that's not entirely accurate. That being said, Gun didn't necessarily handle things the best when they were reportedly not allowed to release more content for the Friday the 13th game, although some people would argue that is not true. And I tend to agree with that. But they didn't anyway. And then most recently, Gun came out with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game just in the middle of a bunch of BS and not functioning properly, and a lot of users having issues with the game. They came out and said there will be no more updates to the game, and they're happy that the game has reached its full potential. Needless to say, the people over at Gun could probably use a lesson in PR or two. But if Gun and Ilfonic are doing it, am I going to get it? Yeah, I'll still get it. But it's hard to just erase what happened with Friday the 13th. Not entirely their fault, but maybe partially in terms of how it was handled. And with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game. I think that game was an abyss from day one and consistently got worse. Where I would argue day one for Friday the 13th was rocky, but it eventually got much better and then worse again towards the end. And I think what people are worried about is they don't want to see this Halloween game come out and people to have access to it for a couple of years, and all of a sudden it gets taken offline. Now, I know people have been clamoring for a single-player version of the Halloween game, and until we hear otherwise, it doesn't appear there's any plan for that. This very much feels like asymmetrical horror. The question is, what do you think of this news? The news that Boss Team Games has reportedly lost the rights to the Halloween game and that ILLFONIC and Gun have picked it up. Are you confident in that? Does what happened with Friday the 13th and Texas Chainsaw Massacre worry you? Are you worried or kind of just annoyed in general that the Halloween franchise right now is just a very volatile place between the game and the TV series? We'll have more on our Tuesday night live show where we're live at 9 p.m. Hopefully we know more by then. But yeah, as it stands right now, the Halloween game no longer at Boss Team Games. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Check us out at Patreon, patreon.com/themaskofear.